This is Rabbi Robert B. Holman Jr.
Sean Appleton.
and this is Hebrews
in Exile.
This has been a beautiful day. Matter of fact, it's been a wonderful week.
Hmm.
And right now, I'm really quite excited about tonight's podcast.
Yeah.
Today, I was sitting around and I'd gone through my normal things that I do today, and I really was wondering. I says, "Well, what are we going to talk about tonight?"
Mm-hmm.
And then we come in, and you, I mean, how does this come about?
Yeah. I mean,
Now, we're going to talk. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk about um, the. I don't know how to put it.
the spark, the flame, the match.
Yeah, yeah, that's being ignited
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
over the knowledge of the Most High's name coming into the presence of people and congregations that we wouldn't even expect to hear such verbiage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But how does this happen? I mean, talk to me.
I mean, it happened very kind of organically. We're um, sitting around the campfire at the job. We're having some discussions amongst my colleagues, and we're talking about a particular subject matter, this issue of being woke, if you will, and how a lot of things have infiltrated our culture that is just not germane to any benefit at all to anybody. But at any rate, whatever your position is on that, it is what it is. But there's a particular group here in the Sacramento region, in an area called Roseville. Of those of you that are familiar with that, one of the largest churches, amongst one of the largest churches in the Sacramento region, is a group called Destiny's Church, and from time to time, I tend to go to that web page just to see what's happening there, and for just not because I'm trying to follow them or not because I'm trying to get anything else. It's just to see what's happening in the Christian world.
Yeah, because they're very politically oriented.
Yeah, they
I mean,
are.
They're a Christian fundamental.
Yeah, I would say that they're very conservative in their views and the way that they think. Very politically, and that is one of the things that they've been accused of in the paper. I think in the SAC-B, they've come under fire because it has just been such a politically charged group of individuals. So just know that when you're listening to them, or for you who've ever decided you want to frequent their page or their social media. But as I was on that site, just looking, and let me just say this: the reason I went there today was because they speak about things germane to being woke. They don't like the issue of wokeness, and so that's why I wound up there. I said, okay, I'm always looking around for different things to trigger me, I guess. So I went to their webpage, and I found a video, a jewel, a treasure there. And what sparked my interest is because the title of the caption, which you can probably see in the top left hand of the screen, says Yahweh and Elohim.
Yeah, that when you're a pure Hebrew, when you see the terminology anywhere, and anybody opens their mouth about Yahweh Elohim, it's like whistling at your puppy dog. Our ears go bing,
Right.
and our tail starts wagging. Okay, Yahweh Elohim. What's this about? What they're going to talk about? What's this about?
Right.
Yeah,
And
we get excited.
So the issue was I had every intention on listening to this particular piece. It's not very long, but I'm saying I'm already coming into it in a defensive position because I understand that this is a kind of a Christian fundamentalist group.
Yeah.
And they're mentioning the name of our Elohim.
Our Elohim.
Yeah, the all-existent one. So I'm saying here, oh my goodness. So hopefully whatever's coming out
Whatever's
these
coming
people's
out your
mouth.
mouth, I hope it ain't bad.
Right, exactly. So that was kind of the intent, and it sparked something to say, okay, let's turn it on. Let's see what they got to say. And I'm not going to give away anybody's thunder or anything. We're going to go through it.
We're going to play this video for you. It's by the pastor's wife of Destiny Church. Her name is Kathy Farrington, and it gets along there pretty good. And I'm gonna let you listen to it. Then Sean and I are gonna come back and have some conversation about it. Let's see if we can get it going here. Matter of fact, let me just do this.
You know, when we read the Word of God, there are a lot of words that are used to depict the name of God. And many of us know many of them. There's Jehovah Jireh, he provides. There's Jehovah Rophe, he is our healer. And so when you pray and you use his words, his name in your prayer or in your praise, you are inviting that character, that nature of God into your life. And so we're going to sing a worship song here in a few minutes. And it's about the names of God. And I want to talk to you about two of those names. One of them is Elohim. The very first sentence in the Bible lets us know about our God Elohim. It says in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God, in the beginning Elohim. He created the heavens and the earth, and he goes through the 7 days, and everything God created. Do you know that that is our God? The God who created everything. We are the created, but he is the creator. And when we invite Elohim into our life, we are giving him access to create anything in our world, anything in our relationships, anything in our lives that we might need. Joshua 1:9, he says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Why? Because the Lord your God, the Lord your Elohim, is with you wherever you go. So we have this Elohim God that can create anything we need. Nothing's too difficult for him. And he's with us wherever we go. He can create our protection. He can create open doors. He can create anything we need. He can move mountains. We have an Elohim God that is omnipotent, that is all powerful, that you don't need to find another power in this world. He is the power that we need, Elohim. Then there's another word, Yahweh. Wow, this word you could study for a year. It is kind of complicated, I'm not going to lie, as I was studying. Because Yahweh is actually the word Lord, but in the Bible, Lord is spelled 3 different ways. So, but Yahweh that we are worshiping, Yahweh is capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. And Yahweh is actually mentioned 6,800 and I think 23 times in the Old Testament. Yahweh is mentioned almost in every book of the Old Testament. Yahweh is our redeeming God, the God who is able to go in situations, deliver and redeem anything that needs to be redeemed. Yahweh is actually a very sacred word, and the common people wouldn't use it in the Old Testament. It was only the priest who actually used the word Yahweh because the other people felt it was too sacred to even say out of their mouth. But we have the ability, the privilege to call upon Yahweh in our life. You know, one of the redeeming times that Yahweh manifested himself as God in the Old Testament is through Moses. You know the story. God spoke to him. Yahweh spoke to him through a burning bush. Yahweh told him, you need to go talk to Pharaoh to release my people. You need to go talk to the children of Israel. Tell them to get ready to go, that I have seen, this is in Exodus chapter 3, I have seen their misery. I have seen their oppression. I have heard their cries. I have heard their sorrow, and I will deliver. And Moses tells God, but who am I going to say sent me? They're not going to believe me. Who am I going to say sent me? And Yahweh says, I am who I am. That is who's sending you. I am who I am. It actually means Yahweh I am. And it is a very present tense. You know, we can kind of think, oh, God's out there, or when you go home, God's only at Destiny, or you can think that. No, Yahweh is present. He is I am. He is with you wherever you go, just like that scripture says. Proverbs 18:10 says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to him and they are safe. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. We can run to Yahweh and be safe. In the New Testament, it is used again. When the Roman soldiers and the police came to arrest Jesus, you know, they brought like 300 to 600 armored guard to arrest one man. They knew how powerful he was, don't you think? Anyway, when they came to arrest, they said, are you Jesus of Nazareth? And Jesus responded in the garden and says, I am he. When he said, I am he, John 18 tells us that all the guard, all the police, they fell backwards and fell to the ground. Now, they didn't fall like I fell the other week. The Bible says they hit the ground with explosion. The Bible says it was a blast. When he spoke, I am, there was a blast that sent back the enemy, that sent back the army that comes to attack, that sends them back, that there's power in the name of Yahweh. And it's the exact same phrase that was spoken to Moses in Exodus 3. And I tell you that because I want you to know, as we worship, God wants to meet you right where you're at. Do you need a deliverer? Because Yahweh, he delivered him out of bondage, 400 years of bondage in Egypt. But Yahweh, in John 18, Jesus delivered us from our bondage of sin. And Yahweh, Jesus, can deliver you from any situation you are going through. You know what it is. Any situation. We are going to sing to Yahweh. We are going to sing to Adonai. We are going to sing to Elohim. We are going to sing to the great I am. I'm going to have you stand right now. But I want you to realize you have the choice to worship the great I am. You have the choice to come and invite Yahweh into your life, Elohim into your life, to deliver you, to provide for you, to create for you. It is our choice. It is our choice. Can I pray for you? Lord, right now, your name is great.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to say that in spite of, for us pure Hebrews, the injection of making Yahweh synonymous with a man, that she did a really good job.
She did. I thought that she did a phenomenal job for where they're at and their understanding.
And
Yeah,
when I think
awesome
about
job.
and when I think about what she's saying, it takes my mind back to 2007
Mm-hmm.
when we first made the transition out of Christianity to be Hebraic, and we were studying the Hebrew language with
Mm-hmm.
our Hebrew teacher, and we were able to decipher that the Most High had a name,
Yeah.
Yahweh.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say to you all that heard that, I have been expecting something like this to happen and take place. I've been waiting for this.
Mm.
Um, there's a lot I can say about what she said. First of all, let me say this. She mentioned that the name Yahweh is mentioned in the Hebrew text over 6,000 plus times.
Yeah. Something to that effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we know, pure Hebrews know, by reading the Hebrew uh, text itself, that the word Lord and the word God are not written in the Hebrew text in relationship to the Most High.
Correct.
You're going to find the Tetragrammaton, which is Yod He Vav He,
Mm-hmm.
in respect to the Most High. We know that in all Greek inspired Bibles, the name of the Most High has been replaced by the words Lord and God.
Mm-hmm.
So she's using them interchangeably, uh, Yahweh God,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what she knows.
Yes.
We spent, my goodness, it wasn't until 2000 we became Hebrews in 2007. It wasn't until 2018, 17 or 18.
17. Yeah.
That's what, 10 years?
Yeah.
It wasn't until 10 years later that we unraveled the fact that Yahweh is alone by himself, and there is none like him or anyone that can be compared to him today. So we quote from the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 40, where he asked the question, who, 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 who do you compare me to? Who can I be compared to?
Right.
And then he talks about further in the prophets, I delivered you, and there was no alien God with me.
Mm-hmm.
So she's right. She's right, through her conversation of how she introduces Yahweh Elohim to the congregation. Now, as I said before, I've been waiting for this to happen.
Yeah.
The only thing is that our people need to know, Most High doesn't have a myriad of names.
Correct.
He has titles that define his action and define what he does.
Right.
Those are not names; those are titles.
Right. Like when she uses Yahweh Rapha.
Rapha,
which
yeah.
is Yahweh is the healer, or if you
Yeah.
come across Yahweh Hasophet, that's
And-
Yahweh is the judge.
And that's pure oxynosiaism. Also, oxynosiaism is the fact that they don't use or pronounce the Father's name as she indicated, because they think it's too sacred to do so.
Yeah,
But we have a problem with that,
Mm-hmm.
because I forget now in what text it's in, but you can look this phrase up because it's written in, you can concordance or search it out. They that call up on the name of the Lord. She's already told you that word Lord has been translated into as Yahweh. So they that call up on Yahweh shall be saved.
Right.
That's very important, because the name of the Most High is the one that does the delivering act. She's talked about how Yahweh is a powerful deliverer.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh is a powerful redeemer.
True.
Power, Yahweh is always present. Yahweh God is always present. Well, we have dropped the name God because there is some heathenistic connection to that terminology, to that term, for me, that allows me to set it aside and refer to him as El
Mm-hmm.
or Ea. I thought when she went to Exodus chapter 3,
Yeah.
she was going to
Do 13, 3 and 13 or something like that.
3, 13,
13,
14, 15, 16,
Uh-huh.
where she talked about who shall I say sent me that I am.
Right.
Well, that whole text, there's verbiage in the Greek inspired Bibles where the rest of that text, where the Father's name is not mentioned. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
my question
Okay.
to her is, if you're reading your Greek inspired Bible, where did you find the name Yahweh? And who have you been listening to?
Yeah, because
Because it's not in your Bible.
that's right. Yeah, if you look it up, it won't be there.
You will not find the name Yahweh in any Greek inspired or Eurocentric inspired Bible. It's not there. That whole text is left out.
Yeah, which speaks to her acumen or whatever she's studying, or
Yeah.
whoever is in her circle, or whoever's being influential is on the right path. Because obviously, yeah, there's some missing information in the Greek inspired text that alleviates the name of the Most High. And I thought what I got excited about is when she said, she said Yahweh that I am. I thought she might have went ahead and said Eye Asher Eye. Then that would have been a dead giveaway that she's reading some type of Hebraic manuscript that actually
Right.
alludes to it. Because now you're getting back to the essence and the organicness of the Most High's name, as he mentioned it to his servant Moshe.
Yeah. Now, you might ask, why are we talking about this, and why are we sharing this with you?
Yeah.
Here is the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give for all you Hebrew people and for all you melanated people who go to Christian black churches.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a rule.
Mm-hmm.
It is historical. It's historical that the majorities of black churches follow on the heels of what they hear and see their white predecessors do.
Mm.
Black churches didn't know anything about praise and worship until Song Hill and all of those white churches started doing praise and worship and had praise and worship teams. And then all of a sudden all the black churches started having praise and worship teams.
Mm.
Black churches did not have praise dancers until the white churches started doing praise worship with praise dancers. And here's a problem that I have. The Most High said we're supposed to be the head and not the tail. But the Eurocentrics are leading the way.
Correct.
Now, I said I've been waiting for this to happen.
Yeah.
Because you see, we go back, as I said earlier, in 2007, we were making the same
Yeah, the content, yeah.
the content. We were doing the same. We were melding Yahweh with Yeshua and all of that. We did the same thing.
Yep.
That's the beginning of an awakening.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'm sharing this with you. I want you all to hear what I'm saying. What you just heard tonight out of Destiny Church, out of that European fundamental Christian church, is a spark that I have to ask a question: who is she listening to?
Mm.
Because whoever they're affiliated with and or whoever she's listening to, that's going to ripple through, and people, that's a very large congregation of people.
Yes.
And if they bite on the fact that the Father is Yahweh,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be Yahweh in for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. And she did it so very eloquently for a group of individuals, because I'm looking at the premise. I also have to remember and keep it in context, because she also says, hey, listen, we're going to sing some songs. It was like this dissertation and monologue was a preparatory act
Right.
to say, hey, listen, we're going to use some words and some terms that you've never heard possibly before, and I want to give you the backstory on it. And she did it so well that us as pure Hebrews were intrigued and interested the whole entire time while she was speaking. She was on very good ground
Right.
for 95, 98% of the time
Yes.
that she was speaking. And I
Yes.
thought her introduction was very eloquently put. So it was setting the groundwork to say, and that's a beautiful thing in the sense that you're already to start to learn songs. Not only is she giving you a teaching prior to, but now it's going to start to get ingrained in your spirit, because now you're going to be hearing this word that keeps coming up in song, and it's going to be in the back of your mind all the time. So this is a very good thing. And the Most High doesn't do anything by coincidence. That's why I said we started. This is the spark, hopefully.
I wished I could have heard the song they were going to sing.
Right. I think they might have actually had it on the regular old.
Because here's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find songs out there that speak of Yahweh.
That's true.
You got to go hunt for a song of worship that includes the name of Yahweh,
Yeah.
unless they took some of their songs and injected his name into it.
That's correct. That's correct.
So I would be very interested to hear the song they sang, because I'd be hot diggity dog if they was playing some of Kevin's music.
Yeah, that would be that would be probably the nail in the coffin, the confirmation that we're doing something right. Well, I'm not to get the big head or anything, but yeah, that would be nice to know what song they did sing. There is a plethora of songs that are out there, but yeah, that would have been nice to know.
Now, here's the interesting part that I opened up for you all. Black churches follow on the heels of their white counterparts. Whatever their white counterparts do, you will find that kind of thing starting to take hold in their churches. Now, there is another church in the city for which some dear friends of mine that grew up with me, because they're younger than I am. I remember when they were babies.
Okay.
And I see them on Facebook and what have you, and they're always talking about Yahweh. So it's not. So the issue is not. It's not a new concept in the minds of Christendom, but what she did right there, she put it in its proper context.
Which is the beautiful part, because you, like I said, how did I open up? I opened up looking to, I mean, I understand what kind of congregation they are.
Yeah.
And so I was looking to see, okay, is this person going to butcher this?
Yeah.
And she didn't.
Yeah. No, she didn't.
She didn't at all. She did it in its proper context.
No, she didn't.
And she took them right to the beginning and explained it from there. That's why this type of thing is like a gateway. I'm going to use a pejorative term here, y'all. It's like a gateway drug. Once you get it into your hubris, your mind, and then you start to explore that, it takes on a life of its own, and why we are, or at least in the position that we are in now. But I piggyback on what you're saying, and I agree with you. Black people don't tend to move unless they see some type of confirmation somewhere. Now it's okay. And now if it's okay, we see this happening. What's going to be interesting is when you start going down this rabbit hole of where this leads and who Yahweh's people are. Now that's another issue that's going to come up. Now I would be interested to see in the future how this takes fruition. If it just stops here and we just acknowledge that that's the name of Yahweh, because I'm telling you, the more and more you get into this, the more and more truths and the wool has been pulled over your eyes on the things that you've learned from Christendom that don't align up with what Yahweh says.
One of the things that I noticed, and I don't know if you all, you can go back and you can if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, if you could feel when she started talking about Yahweh, she got very, very
Yeah,
emotional.
she had to stop.
And that's because that demonstrates
Yeah.
that demonstrates the power that that is associated with that name when it comes out of a pure heart.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know this lady,
Mm-hmm.
but listening to her tonight, in my mind, I see her as an individual that is searching. She says she's studying. She says there's a whole lot to know about the name of Yahweh. Well, not really. Not really. It's not that he's not that deep.
Mm.
I mean, he's deep, but when you understand how the Most High El, whose name is Yahweh, functions
Mm-hmm.
and how he goes about his business and what he is looking for from his people, the more that you study him, it's going to drag you. It's going to take you someplace. I'm with you. I'm interested to know where this is going to go, because you can't talk about Yahweh and Mashe without talking about his laws, his rules, and his mitzvot, his commandments.
Absolutely.
That's the heart and soul of Yahweh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the heart and soul of Yahweh.
This is going to spark some good banter and questions and a whole nother facet.
And I'll be doggone. There's another video on there with her husband
Yeah.
talking about
Land.
the land, how we're going to take the. Hey, get out of my ball. That's my ballpark. You don't know a doggone thing. Y'all want to go to heaven. Now you want to take some land.
Yeah. Yeah, and
That's interesting.
it goes right hand in hand when you look at her dissertation that she does, which was eloquent, and then you look at where he goes. Now again, understand, we are not throwing them under a
No,
bus.
no, not
because
at all.
We were there at one time.
No.
Where we were trying to understand and get a good stronghold and a good footing on where we are. But here's the interesting part. This is why I like the Most High. And this is no dig on them. Please don't take this the wrong way. The Most High, as you mentioned earlier, positioned people like ourselves that when this hopefully catches fire, we're in a position, and that's how Hebrew Israel is supposed to be set up, period. When the nations come and look for understanding and wisdom and leadership on how to execute the mitzvot, how a community is ran, they come to Yahweh's people. So this is just a foreshadowing, hopefully, and it will be, not hopefully. This is a foreshadowing on how it's going to look, because we've, as you eloquently put, we've been groomed over a decade and some change. And we've come to this understanding. So even if individuals are listening to this and they go over there and we're going to hashtag the fool out of this. So anybody that's listening to them will come see us and say, okay, there's a deeper understanding of this Yahweh. I want to know more about him and his behavior and how he treats his people, and now all these questions that I had are getting answered. And I'm understanding the Greek text. I'm understanding the Hebrew text, which is the Hebrew text. And now it's all making sense.
Yeah. One of the things that the purple and gold people don't do, and they put people who claim to be of Hebrews in a bad light, is because I call them the mad Hebrews.
Yeah.
They talk negatively about the other nationalities of people, when in fact our text teaches us and shows us, particularly in Numbers chapter 15 and verse 15, he says the Most High El, Yahweh, speaks to Moshe and says, there shall be one law or one Torah for you, Israel, and for the foreigner residing with you.
Absolutely.
So now, this lady here, she's a foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
She's of the nations.
Mm-hmm.
Our text also goes back and it says, in the prophets, it says, let us go up to Jerusalem, for the Torah, or the law of the Most High, is being taught there. That's in the Messianic era.
Mm-hmm.
But in this 6th day, that's grace.
Mm-hmm.
There is now an opening up. This right here, like I said, I don't know who she's listening to. I don't know who they're listening to. I don't know how you get to a point of talking about Yahweh and talking about land. That's all pure Hebrew stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to be able to put any kind of teaching behind that, you've got to be listening to somebody, or you've got to be studying our text in a way that's opening your eyes to see what's happening. But the further down that road they go, they're going to find out that who the Most High's people are.
Yeah, and that's going to be a defining point on a transition-wise as to what they do, because we also got to understand, when we made the transition, there's a different set of circumstances that were in play. We were a smaller group of individuals.
Right.
We could be nimble enough to make the transition. The Most High has sustained us, even though we are few in number. He has sustained us through the years. But when you're talking about like I said, this is a big church.
That's a mega church.
And then to pivot, or not even pivot, but to make an arcing turn towards the Most High and the ear-beater teaching, that is going to be the end. For like two commentators like Stephen A. Smith and I guess I'll be Shannon Tharp up here. I'll talk like Shannon Tharp for a little bit. No, but I mean, as we're commentating on this, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans
moves,
out for them.
how it pans out,
Yeah.
and how it moves across the fundamental Christian denominations, and how other Christian churches, I don't care what their ethnicity is, how they're going to pick up on this particular thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I say this to you. At least she said, what caught my ear with what she said? She says, I've been studying.
Mm-hmm.
See, now, this is what intrigued me. I've been studying. When you stop and study outside the parameters of where you are, and you stumble onto this, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's really big.
Yeah. And because it's so big,
That's
and
big.
so loud,
Yeah, that's big.
that I know that, and you know this too, there are going to be some collateral people on the side that are going to be picking up on this, and that's what we're aiming for. I understand that it's coming from Destiny's Church,
Yeah.
but the greater part here is the Most High needs to awaken his people first.
And he uses the instrument. He uses the instrument that he knows that his people are going to listen to. They're not listening to us.
Right. We're just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, and we're just here. Although we have and know the information well,
Mm-hmm.
they're not listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
But they will listen to their white counterparts.
Yeah. And if this becomes a trend where they're using the name of the Most High, like I said, all you need is just that spark that will get people intrigued, and now we're asking questions.
Yes.
Now we have to read. And this is the beautiful thing about being in this day and age, because as we're seeing, I used that term woke earlier today, about being open-minded to different things. We're living in a day and age where people are not afraid to ask questions.
No.
And they're not afraid to engage in banter, into conversation, and you need to have a reasonable answer for what you're talking about. I'm just not going to, if these things aren't marrying up, we need to have a discussion that makes some type of sense.
Right.
And again, I'm glad that see, that's the Most High working in this too, to say, yeah, there's a Hebrew for those of you that are watching. Oh, these are Hebrew. They must be the part of the mad Hebrew group.
No, we're not.
We're making that distinction.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. And
No,
this
we're
is
not.
what this is supposed to look like.
Yeah, exactly. And in essence, we would welcome her into our conversation in
Absolutely.
order to help her to better understand
Mm-hmm.
what she's talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and show her in in our codex, the Hebrew text, where she left off, where the Most High's name is written in the text, but it's been left out of every European Bible.
Absolutely.
It's not. It's you. If you have a King James, if you have any kind of Bible other than a Hebraic Bible, Exodus chapter 3, verse 13, 14, 15, and 16, I think down to 17,
Mm-hmm.
is missing
Mm-hmm.
the information that brings forth with the Most High. Say, I am the Elohim of Abraham, the Yitzchak. I am the Elohim of Yaakov. This shall be my name throughout all generations. Yod He Vav He, the Tetragrammaton. This
Mhm.
shall be my name throughout. This is how I shall be known through all my generations, by the name Yahweh. It's in our text,
Yeah.
which I come back again and say, I wonder what she's reading,
Right.
because it's not in that Bible she was holding in her hand.
Right. 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 I mean, there's only, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple publications that are out there that talk about that. But what's even more interesting is, like you said, where she left off, the next place to go forward is to go back to that eloquent book, that opulent book called Shemot, where it says in Shemot, in chapter number 4, and somewhere between 20 and 22, where it says, that's the next piece to get.
Yeah.
Israel is my firstborn son. Now we got to deal with, that's Yahweh speaking, and he's taking a stronghold in your spirit. Now you got to explain that.
Yeah.
How did it become someone else? And it
Yeah.
has never changed from the inception of that, or instantiation of that group of people to this very day.
Right.
So now we have to reconcile this. That's why I'm saying the fork in the road
Yes.
is, they are standing at it.
Yes.
And I praise and give honor to the Most High, because he's doing something.
Yes, he is.
And orchestrating
Yes,
something
he
that
is.
is way beyond us.
Yes,
And
he is.
I realize that the Most High has positioned us
See,
in a
yeah.
sweet spot.
yeah, I have been praying. I have been praying, and I've been asking the Most High. Says, and you know, the question that I asked him, why aren't they hearing us? And the Most High told me, he says, why would they hear you? They don't listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows who they will listen to.
Mm-hmm. And that's the other part of the equation there.
Yeah,
they
he
won't
knows-
listen to you. They
no,
won't listen to me. But I know who they
I know
will
who they
listen
will
to.
listen to. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Cold-blooded. See, this is
Cold-blooded.
what I'm
See,
saying.
the Most High El is strategic in everything he's doing. With that, I'm going to say to you, watch out. You're going to start hearing the name Yahweh being expressed within Christian churches all over the world. This is just the spark.
Yeah.
But just because they use the name Yahweh does not mean that they have an understanding
Mm-hmm.
of what he purports and what it is that he's looking for in his people.
Yes.
What he's really trying to do, is to get his people to wake up.
Right. Exactly.
He's trying to get Hebrew Israel in exile to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that if you listen to the other people, their ears are going to hear it. They're going to start doing some preaching, and now the next thing is going to happen.
What's that?
I'll
Okay.
tell you well, the next thing that happen in the black church, they're going to start preaching this.
Mm.
We teach it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going, and Yahweh said, and Yahweh and Yahweh and you're going to hear that kind of verbiage coming out of the black church.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the problem with that is, and I realize it's a spark, they're going to be coming out of it and leaving the core of the most important aspect of Yahweh out of the conversation, and that is to repent and turn back to me and obey my laws. my mitzvot,
yeah.
and my commandments, and my teachings.
Mm-hmm.
That may
Absolutely.
happen downstream,
Mhm.
but it's not going to happen up front.
Yeah. And that's the Most High with your dissertation that you've done. The Most High, we're not going to be like the Book of Yehudit that they gave the Most High 5 days.
Oh, we're going to give him all the time he needs.
He's got plenty of time in this dispensation of time. If you earmark it starting in 1985. Now you got to go back into some other podcasts and then reason and understand why we say 1985. But if it started, he's got a lot of years in order to turn the ear of the people, and we're just riding the wave. We're going to be attentive to what the Most High has in store for us. But this, I'm elated because this is just confirmation that the Most High is in control.
Yeah,
He's moving the pawns where he needs to.
Yeah, I've got a friend that the Most High sparked in my mind to call and to sit down and have a conversation with. He's a teacher of Scripture, and he's a friend of mine, and I just want to query. Now I want to find out where his ear is in line of this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, this has been Rabbi Robert B. Holman Jr.
Sean Appleton.
and this has been
Hebrews in Exile. Shalom.